So, Marvel Zombies finally came out, and it sucked. Yeah, I know that's probably my most head-ass take of all time, but it's the truth. This show just straight up sucks. Again, I know that sounds like I don't like a single part of it, but that's not true at all. I like the animation. This show is clearly given a smaller budget than it needed, so they had to save a lot of it for a bunch of scenes, which left a good amount of this show looking like Season 4 of Telltale's The Walking Dead. Which, I mean, if you've been watching me for a while, you should know. I love those games. I also like the voice acting. I think it's cool that most of the people in this show are voiced by the actors from the movies, and they all do a pretty good job at it. I like Blade Moon Knight, even though he kinda got one shot, but more on that later. I like I think the fight scenes are pretty good. Our group of survivors all have a good set of powers that are diverse enough from each other to make each fight feel unique and fun. And, I think that's about it. Alright, now it's time for me to talk about why I hate this show. For one, how the hell did Hawkeye get infected? If this show is still set around the time of Endgame or Infinity War, then he's either on house arrest or is Ronin. Besides, you're telling me that the guy who survived against Infinity Ultron for as long as he did got killed by zombies? Is it because he's not that big a fan of Marvel anymore? Is that what it is, Mr. Kevin Feige? Genuinely, and I mean this in no disrespect, but if Daryl Dixon can survive in The Walking Dead, then Hawkeye can survive in this. Because
get off the bridge!
secondly, I do like that Icarus is in this show. I think it's cool that since the Eternals aren't organic creatures, that they couldn't be infected by the plague. But if you're gonna go out of your way to show one of them, that raises the question of where in the world are the other 9? I mean, call me crazy, but I have a strong feeling that someone like Druig, whose power is to mind control people, would be incredibly helpful here, since they established that zombies can be mind controlled. Sprite would also be helpful, seeing as her powers are casting illusions. Ajax would be helpful since she can heal people. Thena, Kingo, Gilgamesh, even someone like Cersei, or Phaestos, or Makari would be helpful. And you know what? I wouldn't care nearly as much if Marvel would just stop pretending that that movie didn't happen because it flopped so hard. Imagine if they did that for other movies. Like after Iron Man 2 was the flop that it was, we never saw Iron Man. Or after Thor 1 underperformed. Imagine if we just never saw Thor again. Also, Khonshu, for whatever reason, sounds incredibly different here. I mean, just give this a listen.
I thought it talk. To signal for an audience with the gods is to risk their wrath.
What? Well, what's the worst that could happen?
Anger them enough, and they'll imprison me in stone.
Oh, doesn't sound so bad to me.
See how you fare against Harrow without the protection of my healing armor.
I am the moon god Khonshu! Has the world changed so much that the Asgardians no longer recognize my deity?
Like, okay, that doesn't sound like that big of a complaint, but I'm a pretty big fan of the Moon Knight show, and Khonshu sounded cool in that. But here he sounds stupid. I don't know why they went out of their way to change it. Also, and this is probably one of the biggest complaints with this show, what is even going on? I know that sounds stupid. Oh, Gator, you clearly didn't even watch it. But let me explain. If this is the same Marvel Zombies universe as the What If episode, then Zombie Cap and Zombie Wanda should not be here. Why, I hear you ask? because we see both of them in the Season 1 finale of What If, brought in to kill Infinity Ultron, who did this to both of them. So what, I hear you say? It's clearly set before that. Nuh-uh-uh. It clearly cannot be set before that. You wanna know why? Because we see this happen to Zombie Cap. Also in that episode, we see Zombie Hawkeye, which again proves that those two cannot be the same Marvel Zombies universe, because we saw this happen to him in this show. Which means there is another universe where all of this happened in the exact same way with the exact same people. How do they not have good continuity? I don't get it. Now, something I genuinely do not understand is how Kamala Khan is so important. Like, I get it earlier when she had the transmitter that could cure the world, but we find out that that doesn't work at all whatsoever. But even after that, we hear all the time about how Wanda believes she's the most important person for her, but we never see why. We are only ever told how important she is. We are never shown why. We're only told that she is, and that is a problem. And yeah, Blade as Moon Knight, that's so cool. I can't believe that wasn't an actual episode of What If. I mean, look at these fight scenes. They're so cool. And then he gets one shot by Zombie Thor, which, I mean, makes sense, but God forbid I wanted to see a cool fight scene between the two. But you know what? That's neither here nor there. We have Infinity Hulk, which is Hulk with the power of the Infinity Stones, who is immediately nerfed beyond belief so they could have Zombie Wanda win and have a cliffhanger for a Season 2. Oh my god, and I haven't even talked about Shang-Chi yet. Yeah, this is the first time seeing Shang-Chi in what, 4-ish years? Well, he's actually a pretty good character still. Not really many complaints from me. His movie was one of the few solid movies of Phase 4. Though I do think it would have been a lot better if they had it to where he couldn't really use the rings. It's shown that he got bit and his dad gave him the 10 rings to stop his infection. And in my opinion, it should have been more like David Martinez using his cyberware and edge runners, where the more and more he uses the rings, the more and more he risks getting fully infected. Also, he gets absolutely murdered by zombified Jimmy Woo when he could have just used the 10 rings to save himself. Look, I dislike this show for a lot of reasons. Some of the reasons I've given so far weren't really serious. I'm okay with Hawkeye not having survived the zombie apocalypse. I've accepted the fact that the Eternals won't be seen again. All of that's okay. But the main reason I dislike this show is because the ending. It just sucked. I talked about this in different parts of the video, but we got to see Infinity Hulk, and the zombie Wanda has amassed an army to beat him, to get the power to fix this reality. And then she wins because apparently Kamala Khan is the most important person of all time. And she allows Wanda to kill Infinity Hulk. And then we get left on a cliffhanger for a Season 2, which I'm gonna be honest, I really hope does not come. The What If Zombies episode came out in 2021. It is currently 2025. Just to put that in perspective, that is enough time for a presidential election. I mean, we had a presidential election between the time with this and the What If episode. I'm feeling generous towards this show because there is a good few things that I like about it. 5 out of 10. Probably would have been a bit higher if we didn't have to wait 4 years between this and the What If episode. I just said that, I know. Going across as a broken record. The next video is probably going to be about Peacemaker Season 2, baby. I love Peacemaker.